All right, so I finished my 3 overviews on pretty much the videos I needed to make in order for this one to make sense. I just wanted to get those 3 out of the way so you can go back and refer to those because I'm not gonna comment too much on any real science in this video or go too in depth about these individual drugs. But this video is kind of just a theory I had um, through my own independent research and just thought something that I thought would be cool to share with you guys because it seems to me through my research like it would work pretty well. They would go together pretty like bread and butter, you know. So I don't really know what to call it, so I called it the bio overclocking stack because it's pretty much meant to overclock your biology. And you'll see this stack is meant to try and give you a big boost and a pretty significant boost to your gains in the gym and your life without having drawbacks of suppression and stuff like that from steroids, because that was a big problem with me. Is I just don't like the fact that you get suppressed when you take like a SARM or steroid, anything exogenous. And I obviously made videos on those like MK677 and enclomiphene, which boost endogenous production, but standalone they just don't do a lot and aren't really worth taking for the money. So I pretty much made this because I thought it made sense and it would go together well to hopefully give you a better boost. So we have proviron or mestelone, MK677, ibutamoren, and enclomiphene. And the first one, enclomiphene, what this is going to do, as we know, is boost your endogenous testosterone production, and does that through the negative feedback loop. But then I was thinking, and obviously a drawback of this is it lowers IGF-1, which is not beneficial when trying to gain muscle or anything like that. So the second one, ibutamoren, is going to boost your growth hormone and IGF-1, negating that side effect from enclomiphene. And this is pretty versatile, can be used in bulking or cutting, and it will give you better recovery and better sleep. But now, even these two just standalone don't really do much. So the big thing that I wanted to add on that I think would make the big difference is proviron, and that's going to boost your free testosterone, actually giving you that more anabolic environment, giving your body more androgens to work with, which is also going to manage your estradiol a little bit, manage your estrogen, and you'll see why when I talked about enclomiphene. It's pretty much, enclomiphene is not an aromatase inhibitor, so estrogen will go up, and what proviron does, just go back and see that. I'll explain it all. And then it's also minimally suppressive, and even in high doses, not suppressive at all. So it still fits the goal. So pretty much how my theory goes is, let's say this graph displays somebody's hormone levels. And these numbers aren't actually based off any true numbers. I pulled them out of my ass just for the sake of this to explain hopefully what would happen. I didn't even check to make sure these were accurate or anything. But let's say this is your testosterone, this is your IGF-1, growth hormone, which they should be separate, but ignore that. It's strictly hypothetical. This is your estrogen, obviously. It's going to be in balance with testosterone and have its range. And then you have your free testosterone, which is a small percentage of your total testosterone. Now, if you were to add enclomiphene, we can see the numbers. Your testosterone would boost, and so would your estrogen, and so would probably free testosterone a little bit. And then obviously your IGF-1 would lower due to that side effect. So we have the comparison here. And then let's say we added in MK677. Testosterone's the exact same. Estrogen is the exact same. Free testosterone is the exact same, but now we're going to see a boost in that IGF-1 or growth hormone. And but then I thought, how could we add even more of a boost? That would be with Proviron, which a lot of people don't talk about too much, but I think it should be talked about more because it's very, very unique. But pretty much with Proviron, you really don't get any suppression, and you can go up to 100 milligrams a day. Some even say 250 milligrams a day, and you start to see mild suppression. But so for the sake of this, testosterone would stay the same. Growth hormone would stay the same. Estrogen would lower a bit due to its mild AI properties. And then your free testosterone would boost quite a bit. So that's pretty much the theory behind this, is now you are optimizing pretty much all the growth pathways and clocking them into overdrive. And that Proviron is going to give you that edge that helps your body use a lot more of that testosterone that comes from clomiphene, from lowering your sex hormone binding globulin. And this is just a side-by-side of pretty much natural versus clomiphene, MK, and Proviron, the overclocking stack. The disclaimers I have is it's not tested. I do, however, I really want to do a full before and after 2-month cycle, 3-month cycle of this and see if it actually works, because I really want to put my own theory to test here. And then obviously steroids. I don't think it will be nearly as good as steroids. They're hard to beat, but my goal with this is pretty much hopefully you can get something close without having any of those drawbacks and negative side effects, because I always thought, I've ran some cycles, but it's not for me. I don't want to have to, 1, be on TRT for the rest of my life, and 2, keep having to constantly PCT, suppress it, PCT, suppress it. And I know this is also a bit contradictive because Proviron's a steroid, but I explained that fully. Let's be real here. And then another disclaimer is the MK677 side effects. I don't have anything in the stack that reduces that. And I'm talking about the prolactin and the insulin sensitivity. But summarize that up really quick. Berberine and like P5P for prolactin. And these would be my dosages. So for cutting, I would do 10 milligrams of MK677 every day at night. And that way you can kind of skip those hunger effects and you can cut fat. And then if you're bulking, I would do 15 milligrams every day in the morning. And the reason these are different is because personally, for me, from my experience with this compound, is anytime I took anything over 10 milligrams at night, I could not sleep at all. It was so hard to fall asleep because that fight or flight response was just too intense. But then at 10 milligrams, I'd sleep like a baby and have amazing sleeps. And clomiphene, 12.5 milligrams every other day. You could play around with this and do 25 milligrams every other day, but I just find what works best for me is just every other day, I think is important, because you're going through the negative feedback loop. Give it some time to rest in between, give it a day's break, and then Proviron, 50 to 100 milligrams every single day. Let me know what you guys think. Comment anything cool you think you could add on. I think cardarine might be a good one to add on, but I'm really curious about everybody's thoughts. So thank you.